Hello, and welcome to a new Wassenger tutorial. Today, we'll show you how to create a WhatsApp group moderator for your business using artificial intelligence with no code. Let's get started. Remember that you can find this flow and many other ready-to-use ones on our website, wassenger.com. The first thing you need to do is create your new account. It won't take more than 2 minutes, and it's completely free. Complete the registration process by selecting your free plan, naming your number, and optionally inviting your team to collaborate. Once you're done, go to Flows in the left sidebar. Then, click Create New Workflow. Rename your new workflow so you can easily find it later. In our case, we've called it How to Build a WhatsApp Group Moderator with AI. Next, we'll create our Wassenger trigger, which will capture all incoming messages from our WhatsApp groups so the bot can process them. Click the plus button and select Wassenger, then choose on New Inbound Message Received. For credentials, leave it as is. Flows connects automatically to your Wassenger account, so there's nothing else you need to configure. However, if you've created a second API key in your Wassenger account, you can edit this field and add the one you prefer. Now, select the number you connected to Wassenger when creating your account. And finally, choose what type of messages you want your trigger to detect. This setting is only for the testing phase, since once we activate our bot, it will capture all incoming messages. Later, we'll add a filter, so it only analyzes messages coming from a group. Now, let's test the trigger to make sure everything is working correctly. Now, just for our testing process, we're going to edit the information received by the trigger so the bot can go through all the steps and we can see how it would behave in a real scenario. To do this, let's edit the incoming message and replace it with one that, for example, speaks badly about a group member. Once done, save your changes and go back to the main workflow view. Now, let's create the EF node we mentioned earlier to verify, in a real scenario, that incoming messages come from a group and therefore should be analyzed. Click Add Node and type IF in the search bar. Then click on it and it will be automatically added to your flow. Now, let's configure it. In the Value 1 field, add the following expression: json.data.chat.type. Set the condition to is equal to group. Run the test and you'll see it works correctly. Now, let's rename the node to something like isGroup. Next, we'll add our first AI agent, which will analyze whether the incoming message violates the group's established rules. Inside the IF node, click Add under the True branch. Search for AI agent and add it. Once it opens, change the source for prompt selector to Define Below and enter the instructions that best fit your needs. In our case, we've left a link in this video's description where you can access all the instructions and expressions we'll be using throughout the tutorial. If you run the step now, you'll get an error. Don't worry, that's completely normal. This happens because the AI agent requires a chat model and a memory connected to it to execute the instructions. To fix this, exit the AI agent and click Add Node, then select Chat Model. In our case, we'll choose OpenAI, but you can use any AI model you prefer. Add your OpenAI credentials, which consist of an API key and an optional ID. You can create your API key at platform.openai.com/account/API keys. We've also included the link in the video description. Once the credentials are added, proceed to add the memory node. Select Simple Memory, and once the view expands, set the context window length to 20. This allows the agent to retain more context when analyzing interactions. It's not strictly necessary in this case, but we'll keep it that way. Next, under the Session ID selector, choose Define Below and add the following expression: isgroup.item.json.data.chat.id. Finally, we'll add a node called Code, which we'll use to normalize the data extracted from our AI agent. This will make it easier to manage and reuse later on. You'll also find the code we used in the video description. Once you've copied and pasted the normalization code, go back to the main workflow view. Now, let's add a second if node, which will determine whether the incoming message should be reviewed by our agent and if so, what severity level it has. Inside the node, add the following expression: JSON.violation_detected equals true. In this case, select the Boolean true option. Next, we'll add our AI agent, which will analyze what type of violation the sender has committed. For this, we'll provide specific instructions that classify the message into 3 levels of severity based on the type of comment received in the group. These instructions are just a guideline. You can adjust them to your own use case. As always, set source for prompt to define below, then in the prompt, add the corresponding information. After that, add the instructions by selecting System Message in the options and pasting them there. Now, we'll connect our chat model, OpenAI, and the memory node with the same configuration as before. Perfect. Now comes the most complex part of this workflow, but don't worry. We'll explain everything in detail so you won't have any trouble setting it up. From the Tools branch, search for the Google Sheets integration. We'll use this to keep a record of users who have been reported as offenders or banned from any of your groups. Here's how it works. The AI agent captures the information about the new violation. It then checks your Google Sheet to see if that user already has previous violations. If not, it creates a new record. If yes, it adds a new strike, up to a maximum of 3, after which the user would be banned from the group. So, continuing with the Google Sheets setup, we need to add our credentials, which you can find in your Google Cloud account. Click Add Credentials. And if you don't know how to connect Google Tools to Wassenger Flows, don't worry. We've also included a tutorial video in the description that explains the process perfectly. Once you've configured Google Sheets correctly, select the spreadsheet your AI agent will use. If you haven't created one yet, you'll need to create a new file in Google Sheets under the same Google account you use for your credentials. For example, you can create a sheet like the one shown here and set it up with the columns and fields you want to analyze or report. In our case, we've included the following columns: group member, group ID, total strikes, status, last violation date, and last violation type. After setting it up, click the Share button in the top right corner. And under General Access, choose Anyone with the link, Editor. Now your agent will have full access to overwrite, update, and manage the document. Next, select the Sheet page. In most cases, you'll only have one option. In the Filters section, choose the column you want to use as a reference. In this case, we'll select Group Member, which checks the WhatsApp number of the member who committed the violation. Then, in the Value field, add the expression shown on screen. Perfect. Now rename your Google Sheets tool to keep things organized and clear. Next, add the 2 remaining Google Sheets tools, which will be used to create a new reported user or update an existing one. For this case, change the operation to Update Row and select the same Google Sheets file again. Scroll down, enable Map each column manually, and specify the column you want your bot to use for matching participants. In this case, Group Member. You can leave the rest of the columns to be defined automatically by the AI. Rename this tool as well to keep your flow organized. Finally, add the last Google Sheets tool. But this time, change the operation to Append Row, which is used to register a new user in the list. The rest of the configuration steps are identical to the previous tool. Once done, rename this tool too, so everything stays neatly organized. Next, you can add a code normalization node as before. The important thing now is to create our last AI agent, which will create the appropriate message in response to the violation committed by the group member. To do this, we define again the source for prompt as defined below. Then, we add the following information in the prompt, which you can find in our article, where everything is explained in detail. Finally, add the system message with the instructions to create the message depending on the strike level of the group member, or if instead, they will be permanently removed. Next, we add the chat model with OpenAI and the memory node for its correct functioning. Now, we are going to add a Wassenger node called delete message, since when we detect that a message violates the group rules, it is deleted at the same time the user is warned. So we will do the following. Select our WhatsApp number connected to Wassenger, and then add the expression that will return the ID of the message that the user sent and was reported by the WhatsApp trigger. We see that the expression appears in red. This is because the node cannot extract the information because the flow has not been executed. To verify that the expression is correct, click on Test Previous Steps and wait for it to run until it reaches the Delete Message node. Perfect. Now it appears in green, which means that the data has been extracted correctly and the value is valid. Very important, remember to add in options. Revoke the message for all group participants. This will make sure that no one in the group can read the message again. Next, we are going to create a node to send the message generated by our AI agent. Select your Wassenger number and then add the WhatsApp group ID where the message will be sent, which is the same one where the user sent the message we have banned. To do this, enter the expression you see on the screen. Do not forget that all the expressions and instructions are available in our blog article in the description of this video. Now we add the expression that will return the message created by the AI agent. Now, rename the two nodes we just created, and we are almost done with our workflow. Just a few more steps, and it will be ready to work. Now add a new if node, which will validate if the group member already has 3 strikes and therefore must be removed. This is done as follows. Since we have executed the flow, we can obtain from our second data normalization node the value that indicates if the user should be removed, using should remove and assigning it the value true. Next, we will create a Wassenger node to remove the user. Search in the Wassenger actions for group remove participant. And once inside, select your Wassenger number and add the expression that determines the WhatsApp number of the participant to remove. And that's it. You have just created a bot that moderates the WhatsApp groups of your business, community, group of friends, or anything you like. Now let's test that everything is working correctly. As you can see, the trigger captures the message. The if node checks that the message comes from a group. Then, the first agent analyzes whether the message should be reviewed. After that, it goes to the second agent, which records the incident in Google Sheets. Next, the third agent, with the help of data normalization, creates the message that will be sent to the group. Finally, the message is deleted, the user is notified, and the group member is removed after 3 warnings. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments if you have further questions. And remember to give it a like and subscribe for more tutorials like this.